by the way, let's look at what really happened in Michigan. What really happened in Michigan is El-Sayed did something that the Democratic Party has failed to do repeatedly in the past elections. They put 12,000 volunteers on the street, attracted 12,000 volunteers. They knocked on 10,000 doors a day for 15 months. What's the Democratic Party do? Oh, hey, we'll show up and we'll knock on doors every 2 years in October. You know, it's being in the neighborhoods. It's being in Milwaukee. It's building that muscle, and that 15 million could go much further in just those two states, just Michigan, Wisconsin. Go and get it. Put organizers in the community. Let them start now in August, not October. You know. By the way,
it's tough for electability, Joe. If you got to spend, if you're a group like Apex, $70 million.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Haley Stevens to fight to a draw.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So how did he beat 70 million? It was literally energized volunteers on the doors, 10,000 doors a day in a state for months and months, not putting it all on TV or any of that. And guess who won? And so there are some real lessons there, in terms of just where you put resources, how you do it, but also, somebody somehow is energizing that kind of volunteer base, and it's not the establishment candidates right now. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with Joel. Go to Wisconsin. What's going on there? What are we missing? And look, I'm not. I'm as with the Dean campaign and other things. People like I'm not. I'm pretty pragmatic in these things. But so that pragmaticism for me would, first of all, I always thought they were wrong about El-Sayed and what they were trying to, what their worries were. But, look, he's there now. He's the nominee. Rogers is, let's look at what's holding this coalition together right now. It's be honest, it's Trump. Okay. I mean, it's Donald Trump. That's what people want. And his enablers, and the people who empower and enable him and cow to him. Rogers is you're not going to get any change in this country if Rogers is it. I think that's what people want. They want new thinking, new ideas, not the same old crap. Yeah. And that's why I think fair or not, Janet Mills had trouble from the get-go in Maine, regardless of whether it was Plattner or not. So,
I actually want to dig into that, because that raises a great point. Is we've talked about the message of, the incrementalism message these candidates have had, that Democrats have been. So you've seen some of these faces for 30 years and nothing has changed. And then you have the volunteer work, the field work they're putting in. And that's not just a progressive Democratic socialist tactic. I was looking up some recent numbers. Rob Sand in Iowa up 5 points for governor. James Tallarico in Texas up 4 points. And they're, hardly bomb-throwing leftists, but they do talk a lot about economic justice and about how change hasn't delivered, and they have volunteer bases. So I'm curious, Joe, looking at that, I mean, you're our Iowa watcher. What is Rob Sand saying out there that's building this?
That's what you just hit it. It's not, these are not, socialist Democrat lefties in the party. They're both listening and have really strong arguments for change. By the way, into both states that have been, one party running the show for the Republicans have, this would be the first time a Democrats won the governorship in, a long, long time. Same in Texas. And so they have, that being on the ground there, the urge for change is so strong. And they talk about it in, not in kind of, I don't know, in just sort of normal, it's not gobbledygook. It's not, Paul speak. Neither one of them are, do that. El-Sayed definitely doesn't. You've been in Congress for a few years, and guess what you start doing? It's HR 131 or something, and no one knows what you're talking about. Yep. These guys are connecting, and what they're doing, like Sand, it's work. He did 100 town halls. There's 99 counties in Iowa. This guy did 100 town halls across the state. He didn't just invite Democrats. He invited every Democrat, Independent, and Republican in the county to come to the town hall. And then he got there and said, how many people are Republicans here? And Republicans showed up. And he urged everybody in the crowd to applaud that they were there to listen and share ideas. And how many independents, how many Democrats? Yeah. We're going to change this thing together. That's what
Can I add to what you're saying here, Joe? I'm so fascinated by Rob Sand for a couple reasons. One, Rob is a former classmate of mine. We went to college together. So
I love the guy.
I'm excited to see maybe a guy who I graduated with maybe become governor. Right. But I've been fascinated to watch his rise because he's done it from the position as the only Democratic state elected official as a state auditor. And he's fought corruption at the state level in that role for the past term that he's been in office. And he's gone after Democrats and Republicans.
Republicans, yep.
So he has credibility, right? He has trust that's inherent that he can build a foundation off of. And you're so right, Joe, about those town halls that he's doing where he's inviting everybody. And he's not running away. He is essentially saying, I am a Democrat, but like that is not a limit to like the coalition that I'm going to build. I have a message that's going to deliver for other people. I mean, it reminds me a lot, Joe, of that 2008 race where Obama was in Iowa, and I was a tracker in that race. So I went around all the events, and what Obama would say in every one of those events is hey, Barack, I'm a Republican, but I support you. Do you remember that? Remember when Obama would do that appeal to independents? It's the same type of thing that Rob Sand is doing in Iowa. It's a really good model for how Democrats in the middle of the country can break through.
And you know what he does that I think is like, it's because I have trouble getting other Democrats to do this. This guy goes out every day and has no problem saying, look, both parties have screwed up. Both parties have failed us. I'm running to do this and go into what he's doing. And in doing that, it's like Joel said, he builds up credibility. First of all, it's the truth. There's a reason people don't like the establishment of either party, because after all this, after Barack, after all of it, Trump, all of it, they haven't seen any real change in there. I mean, other than higher prices and higher gas prices and, all that. But, and so look, both parties have failed. And I want to appeal to everybody and work together and figure out how to solve problems. Let's all start talking it out. Let's go to town halls. He's now in his second round of 100 town. He did the first round before the primary. He's launched the next round now in the general. And by the way, you don't see that's the other fascinating thing. I don't think Henson is going to be doing 100 town halls across the state of Iowa in all 99 counties. Tuberville, barely, Doug Jones is doing town halls.
Tuberville can't count to 99.
Tuberville can't count to 99. So that's my point. So I think these are real people-oriented campaigns. If you ask me what forget about ideology, the people that are running actually real people-oriented. I mean, actually conversations with people and listening and really articulating the need for change in their state or in their community or whatever, whether it's a House race or a Senate race. Those people are getting volunteers. They're excited. They're people going, yeah, there's something I can fight for here. And it's not the same old.
And look at the people.
Now you go in, by the way, try to get, you go out and you get try to get a normie Democrat for office to say both parties have failed us. They can't, they won't. It's like, oh my gosh, that'll turn off Democratic voters. Man, you're missing it.